Spaceman, come in.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Here's your boy, the Spaceman, and man, it has been a crazy past few days for Nintendo, but it's been crazier for the people who are just trying to find out how to pre-order the goddamn console. It's been like 4 or 5 days. It's been a crazy amount of time that we've been talking about all the information on the Nintendo Switch 2, it seems. All the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct information is out. All the information for the console and the software, as well as the accessories, are out. All the information in regards to the Nintendo Treehouse is out. So they were showing out the games and kind of showing you the differences between how the games run on Nintendo Switch 2 in comparison to Nintendo Switch 1. So it has been a lot of good, but also just been a lot of bad when it comes to people just trying to find out basic information about a console that is coming out in a couple of months. And I'll go more into detail about it, kind of more organized structure, so that way you don't feel confused about what you're buying yourself into before you make any purchases, before you do anything. I'm here, your boy, the Spaceman is here. He's going to give you all the information you need so that way you can make a informative decision and do what you got to do from there, okay? Before anything, though, if you guys like what you see here, go ahead and leave a like. It helps out the channel. If you are new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I like to see new people. I like to hear new opinions. I like to dabble into these conversations, and I'm going to do everything that I can to make sure that you stay informed and you do what you got to do, and we play great games. That's really, at the end of the day, what really matters, right? So the format, really simple. I'm going to lay it down for you. So first, we're going to be talking about the console and the cartridges, because we need to talk about the way that the games have been formatted, and then that'll transition over to the game section. I'll be talking about all the games that have been announced. There's plenty of them, so you have a good amount of reason to want to take a look at this console if you're interested. There are plenty of titles that will be released. And then the last thing would be the pricing, which I had to kind of leave for last because it is the most confusing part of the video. It's kind of the more confusing, even to this day, to this moment right now. I don't even know if anything's gonna change by the time I upload this video. So that's kind of how crazy it is that I have to be on my toes to let you know. I mean, if anything, maybe I'll update the video, but I'll be honest, it might not have the most up to date. That was kind of the reason why I didn't really make a video, but it has to be done. I mean, at this point, I have to talk about this. I really want to talk about it, but the pricing is really delaying a lot of things. So I'm going to stop rambling on here. Let's get down to the nitty gritty here. Let's talk about the actual console. This is what really hyped me up the most about the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, because let's be honest, the Nintendo Switch 1 has been living a long lifespan. It was really healthy, but let's be real, it did show a lot of its weaknesses, a lot of its exploitations, a lot of the things that you even see now. I mean, I'm still kind of mind boggled about Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. I've been playing that for 60 hours. I'm 60 hours in. I'm about to just do the scale license. If you guys have been playing that game, you guys really do gotta try it out if you haven't, because that game is crazy fun. But anyways, like, I could definitely tell, even with that game, like, it's reaching its limits. And even just after seeing the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, I was just like, I can't imagine how this game will play on the Nintendo Switch 2. There was like this rumor or leak kind of that showed on the coding that there is an option for 60 frames per second on the Nintendo Switch 2. So there might be a Nintendo Switch 2 edition of this game running at 60 frames, 4K. And that idea to me is crazy. And I haven't even told you guys the specifications, anything about the Switch, but yes, 4K is in. I'll talk more about it. Let's actually get down into the nitty gritty and talk about the console. I was baffling on there, but one of the first things that they did show in regards to the console itself was that they confirmed game chat. There's a game chat feature. There's a party chat feature. You can talk with your friends while you're playing games. You can play different games. You can play the same game. You're able to communicate with your friends and family while you're doing it. The cool thing is the the Nintendo Switch 2 has a built-in mic now, and apparently it can handle noise cancellation. So if somebody's doing something really loud, for example, in the background, and you're talking with your friends, apparently your noise will overpower the noise that is going around the room. So, I mean, I think that's pretty cool. I don't know how effective that's going to be, especially when you're, like, say, in the living room and, like, somebody's, like, in the kitchen making loud noise or something. I don't know. Just thinking out loud and trying to see how that would fare out. But I don't know. I guess we'll see. Or I don't know if it's just gonna be so many different types of scenarios. I think it's definitely cool that it has that noise cancellation, but let's be real. I mean, some people got kids and stuff like that, so it's just gonna be like you're still gonna hear some of the stuff in the background. So I just like to see how good it does it, how well it actually cancels out the background. But other than that, they did offer the screen sharing, so you can literally press the mysterious C button that everybody's been talking about. Press that is actually a chat menu, and there's an option there for screen sharing, and it'll allow you to share your screen with your friends. They did show it. Let's be real, it didn't look that great. Actually, the way it is like you have your game, and then at the bottom you have your friends that you're playing with, and then if they screen share, it runs like a really really choppy frame rate. But as soon as you click on it, it will run like maybe like 20-30 frames, which is, whatever. I kind of expect that, like in a Discord server or something, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's kind of cool. I think it's kind of cool for people who are not used to that environment to get into that environment without having to uh, get a PC or anything like that. So for people who are not used to that, they could try it out, and it's actually going to be free until March 31st, 2026. So enjoy that while it lasts. That's going to be a great feature for you to try there if you've never actually tried it or anything. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Not something for me. I don't really care to screen share that much. Maybe I'll try to do some game chat, which I mean, that's kind of cool. I finally get to talk to my friends in regards to that. I guess finally a built-in thing. I don't have to use a damn phone. But some of the things that they also announced is that you can play together on multiple systems using Game Share. So you can do up to 3 systems at a time, and it'll be available via software updates for select titles in the future. So not every game is going to be compatible with this feature, but one of the games they did show off was Clubhouse Games, which is, if you know, you know, but me and the crew know that's our game. So only one copy, and that copy can essentially produce a game share session, and people who don't have the game can just play the game. So that's pretty cool. Or people who don't own the game, you don't gotta own it. Now you can just try it out, and I think that's actually pretty cool. I think we've already had those kind of features in PS4 and Xbox One and stuff like that. So I'm not really like ecstatic about this feature. Again, it's cool for the people who have not been able to try it before. So, go bonkers with that. I personally don't care though. I think I'll probably use Game Share for specific titles if they do become available. But let's be real, I'm not really caring about that. But that's cool that they add that there. Now, what I really want to talk about is actually the specifications, because they actually talked a lot more in depth than I would have thought, but it's still enough to kind of still get some ideas in your head as to what the actual specifications are. So let's go more into detail for that. So they have a 7.9 inch LCD screen. The handheld screen supports up to 1080p, and it goes up to 120 frames per second. And it also has HDR support, which I think is pretty freaking awesome. They talked about the new Joy Cons, and they talked about the mouse control and how you basically they talked about how you can magnetically connect to the Switch 2 and all that stuff. But really seeing that mouse control was really interesting to see how comfortable it actually looks. And apparently you can play with your pants, like you can use the mouse control on your pants and it works, and people have said that it works. So cool. I'm gonna try that out. I'm gonna play the mouse mode in my pants when Metroid Prime 4 comes out. So I don't know, something new to try. I think that's kind of interesting concept for people. Maybe for people who want to play games on the go but don't want to bring a freaking laptop. You know what I mean? Just bring your Switch and that's it. You know what I'm saying? So pretty cool in that aspect there. More information in regards to the console though. They talked about the built-in speakers and a mic for game chat. It has a 3D surround sound kind of sense. The console has a 256 gigabyte internal storage, and the dock supports up to 4K resolution. Has a built-in fan to keep the performance stable, so you don't need to worry about all that. It's got your back. But yeah, overall, pretty much everything has been upgraded. The only thing is that it doesn't have an OLED screen, which, let's be real, I'm sure they're probably going to make their own OLED model, and you're going to have to be paying for that separately. But that's just going to be a later down the line kind of thing, maybe like 4 or 5 years down the line. So I'm not really expecting that. So overall, based on from what I am hearing, it is sounding to be something, um, pretty cool. I think. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me just add a couple things here. Some of the stuff that I didn't really care about. The Nintendo Switch camera. They added a camera so you can connect it to the top USB-C port on the Nintendo Switch 2. And from there, when you're doing the game chat, you could use your camera. It's pretty cool for people who want to use it. Again, not my forte. I don't really care for it. So, and also they showed the new Pro controller, which I'm gonna get. It literally looks the same. It has the same build and everything. The only difference is it has a audio jack. So if you have headset with an audio jack still, you can finally use that there. You can finally use it again, dust it off, but it will have also the C button as well as the GL and GR buttons, which I really don't even use. So I don't really care for it. So I'm there for the audio jack. That's pretty much it. And even that, I have Bluetooth headsets, so I don't really care. I don't know. It was just two things that seem kind of cool in concept, but maybe I'll get that later type of thing. Like I already have a Nintendo Switch Pro controller. Maybe I could use that unless it's not compatible. I don't know. I won't know until the console comes out or we get later down the line. I'm pretty sure it is. I'm pretty sure the Joy-Cons are too. I just don't know to what extremity. I don't know. Maybe you can't play Switch 2 games. I don't know. So that's pretty much it. And then at the end, they showed the release date when it's going to be coming out. And it's coming out June 5th, 2025. Literally in a couple months. Fantastic. All that information. Just think about it. I mean, they showed up the games too and everything, but just think about it in concept. That sounds amazing. Everything that you heard sounds amazing. Sounds great. Sounds phenomenal. Where do I sign up? Where do I go to pre-order this? Oh, what? Pre-orders are coming out April 9th. That's fantastic. How much is it? Oh, $449.99 for a Nintendo Switch 2. $499.99 if you want to bundle with the new Mario Kart World game. What? That sounds bussin'. I'm in. I'm ready. Sign me up. Where do I go? I'm gonna kind of lead that in a to be continued state there for you, so that way you can kind of know when I talk about the pricing. So, actually, we're actually gonna be talking about some of the more interesting concepts, though, and that's the games. The games, yeah. I'm actually gonna go talk about the game cartridges. I wanted to make a separate video about this, but they showed it off in a Nintendo Direct before the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, and they were talking about virtual game cards, how that was going to work out. And then they talked about different types of games that the Nintendo Switch 2 can handle. And this is where it really did fascinate me, because as soon as this showed up, I promise you, the general consumer has gotten all types of confused trying to find out what kind of game I can play on my Nintendo Switch 2. Because I tell you what, this is like the craziest explanation you can give somebody. Somebody's brain is like Patrick right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put the GIF, you know what I'm saying, the GIF, or whatever you guys want to call it. I'm gonna say both because, you know, I'm not trying to get attacked by the internet. Anyways, the real reason that this got everybody confused was because there are 3 types of games that the Nintendo Switch 2 can actually handle. 3 types. Wow, 3 types, y'all. That's crazy. So I'll go ahead and give you the nitty-gritty on that. So the first type of game is going to be a Nintendo Switch compatible game. Now, this is a Nintendo Switch game that is compatible with the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, some of these games can get a free upgrade, performance boost, or whatever you want to call it, and it won't be considered what is going to be the next category, which is a Nintendo Switch 2 edition game. Now, these not only will have a performance boost, but also have some kind of additional content added there. Some of the examples I'm going to give you are going to be like The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. They added for example, like a voice memory section. They added some stuff that you can use, like the map on the phone app and stuff like that. Like, they added some additional stuff that you could use that will allow more enhancements to the actual Nintendo Switch 2 edition of the game, which, okay, cool, that's all right or whatever, but like, you're gonna charge me for that? I could have just gotten the performance boost, you know what I'm saying? So I wish that was kind of an option and not being put under some paywall for having just a performance boost. But nevertheless, this is the type of stuff that kind of confuses people, but we're going to continue because I'm going to show you guys other examples, which is Super Mario Party. They showed Super Mario Party. They showed they have a additional content called Jamboree TV, which essentially allows you to add more mini games, and you can use also the Nintendo Switch camera to play with your friends, and you know, it'll bring a extra level of immersion with some of the party games that they added there. So it's not all bad. They do add some content to it to make it more beneficial. But those will be your Nintendo Switch 2 edition games in comparison to your Nintendo Switch compatible games. So just make sure that there's a difference between one and the other. They can add performance boost if need be. It won't be considered a Nintendo Switch 2 edition though. A Nintendo Switch 2 edition game has extra features, extra graphics settings, extra content. That's kind of what differentiates the difference between the two. So just keep that in mind, because it is very confusing, and I hope people understand that with Nintendo Switch compatible games, you don't get charged for any additional fee or anything like that just to play the game. If it's a Nintendo Switch 2 edition, you will have to pay extra for those extra features, and they will add to those games to the Nintendo Switch 2 editions. Okay? And the last is Nintendo Switch 2 games, which is essentially just games that are from the Nintendo Switch 2, specifically only for the Nintendo Switch 2. So here we go. They did explain that in a very weird way, but I hope that explains it in a way that is more clear, more provides more clarity for you. So that I really didn't understand why that was so difficult for them to explain such a minute thing. I just wish they kind of been more transparent about it. I have no idea. I wish they could been more open or just more, hey, yeah, like we'll tell you the differences about this and that and the third A, B, and C. So I don't know. That's just me. We're not even done with this video yet. This video is gonna be huge. Okay, this video is gonna be humongous. I already know. So the next thing we're gonna be talking about, let's actually talk about the games. And the first game that they did show was Mario Kart World. Now, this game is going to be the launch title for Nintendo Switch 2, so that is the game that you want to cop on the day of. It is going to be a lot more different than what you've expected with Mario Kart 8. It is an open world Mario Kart game. You can virtually drive everywhere that you go. It is a first for the series. It'll have a weathering system depending on the time of day. So, depending on the track that you're in, it could affect the way that you might maneuver your paths on a usual basis because it could take effect. They did mention that there's going to be 24 player racers. So, you're going to be going in hectic and 24 kart mayhem. And they added a whole bunch of different characters to the cast. They showed the Moo cow from like Moo Meadows and stuff like that. That was crazy. They showed off like the Grand Prix mode. Basically, like there are stages between this open worlds, and basically you'll be driving around in these different areas as well. They have the Knockout Tour, which is a elimination mode, essentially like a battle royale type of ordeal where you'll be driving from one point to another depending on each checkpoint. If you don't reach a certain position, you get eliminated. So I thought that was pretty dang cool. I like that they added a free roam mode as well, so you and up to 3 friends can free roam around the whole map, and like you can find ways to, like, I don't know, maneuver through different stages. Maybe it's pretty cool. But they will show more information on April 17th. They are doing a Mario Kart Direct. So if you are interested, you want to find out more information about the game, I'm certainly looking forward to more information. That's where you want to go. Nintendo Direct, April 17th. The game, like I said, it is coming out same day as the Nintendo Switch 2, which is June 5th, 2025. And it looked really cool. But I'm going to tell you right now, the real reason that a lot of people were really disappointed was the pricing. And I will get back into that, but they did show off a lot, and it did show the potential of the next chapter of the series. But when I tell you the pricing and the debacle that happened, like it was insane. It was insane. Like, I don't believe people made a bigger deal out of the console more than they made this game. So I'll get back into that. But like the next game that they showed off was the Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour game, which gives players a kind of like an in-depth tour of how the handheld system is made, and you go through like different parts, and they make like little mini games along the way to kind of show you how certain functions were tested. And it's a really cool concept for developers to kind of give an incentive in-depth tour per se, to give consumers like a fun little trip. But honestly, and everybody's already been saying it, I'm gonna say it too because it's true. Why isn't this a built-in game app? What happened to the charm in that? That was like, I tell you not, that was kind of one of those moments that I literally thought, I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be a built-in game. Like, this is really cool. Like, you can actually just, no, it's a separate digital game only app. It's like, that literally just that literally cut all desire for me to even look at it. I felt so disappointed. So that game, cool if you want to try it. I'm not about that life. I'm good. I think I'm gonna skip on that and go to the next game, which is some of the Nintendo Switch 2 edition versions of games, like I mentioned before, the Super Mario Party, the Jamboree TV. It was using the camera to try out different games and modes. It looks cool. I'll be honest, I'm not gonna try this because I already like the game as is, and I feel like it already runs well as is. So to me, I'm just gonna stick with the Nintendo Switch compatible version of this game and just play online there. Like I don't really care. Like I'm Gucci on that. So the next game that they show is the two Legend of Zelda games, the Breath of the Wild, the Tears of the Kingdom, Nintendo Switch 2 editions. Now, right off the bat, if you have the Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack, these games, these Nintendo Switch 2 editions, will be available for you for free. So if you have Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack and you have the copy of the game, when you play it, the Nintendo Switch 2 edition will be applicable to you on your Nintendo Switch account. So you don't have to pay the additional cost. It's already added for you. So you're good to go on that. You can just play them like that. They showed it off. I'm already excited for it. I don't really need to pay anything because I already have the Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack. So I'm already going to be enjoying these two, and I'm going to try them out. It's going to be really fun. I'll let you guys know how they bear out at the end of the day. Next up, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. I'm already getting that on Nintendo Switch 2. That is actually going to be my first cop besides Mario Kart World. I'm actually going to wait on that because, I mean, let's be real, it's Mario Kart World. I can just come back whenever I want. It's kind of those games that is never going to lose its momentum. There's always going to be people playing this. There's always going to be activity. So I'm not really like in no rush to be playing that game. So I'm actually going to cop this game first. I'm going to see how that fares out. And this is the way I'm going to play it. So this is already a no-brainer. Yo, my bad. I just skipped Kirby and the Forgotten Land plus Starcross World. That game looks pretty cool. I'm actually never played that game before. So I actually might cop it on the Nintendo Switch 2 for the Nintendo Switch 2 edition. The funniest shit though was Pokemon Legends ZA running really smooth on Nintendo Switch 2. It's going to be a Nintendo Switch 2 edition, you know what I'm saying? So it's like at this point, you might as well just get on Nintendo Switch 2. I mean, but you can get on Nintendo Switch 1 if you want. But I don't see why you should at this point. It looks like this will be the definitive way to play this game. So for my Pokemon fans, my bad. Y'all gonna need a cop of that though, you know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Now the next game they showed off was Dragon X Drive, which looked pretty dang cool. It was a game that they showed that they used the mouse controls on the Nintendo Switch 2. It looked really cool. The only thing though, I don't know if I see myself playing this for a long time. The concept itself looked really interesting, and I did see a lot of people saying that it was really fun to try out these different ways to play the game. But like, I don't know, I guess there's once you figure out like the formula, it's like you kind of just beat the game easily. Kind of like with ARMS. I mean, ARMS was such a great game, but the problem with ARMS is just that everybody started to grab, and it just became a very boring experience because everybody was started grabbing. It just became a grab war. So, kind of in the same concept that I see where this is going. I really love it. I want to see where it goes. I just don't know if I would want to pay full price for Dragon X Drive. The next game they showed off was Elden Ring, and I've never played Elden Ring, so this will be the first time I will be playing Elden Ring. I mean, that's pretty much all I can say about Elden Ring. Hades 2, I never played Hades 1. I know, I'm gonna get to it one day, but I have not played it. Sorry. Street Fighter 6 looks phenomenal. I'm down to cop that day one. They announced some actual additional amiibos for Street Fighter 6. It's for Luke, Jamie, and Kimberly, and those will be available on the Switch 2 launch day as well. Yo, they showed off Demon X Machina, the Titanic Zion, and that looked actually pretty dang cool. Now I heard that the original Demon X Machina was actually not that fun, or it was pretty like a 7 out of 10 ish kind of thing. I personally tried out the beta for it, I think it was, and I really enjoyed it. I didn't really get to go all in depth, so maybe I'd like to go back into it. I think I have it on my Epic Game Store or something. I'll probably just copy it and try it and see what it is. But I mean, this looked even bigger than the last game that they put out. So I want to see where that goes. I'd like to see more about Demon X Machina on Titanic Scion and see where that leads. The boy Joseph came out, showed up a Split Fiction coming out to Nintendo Switch 2. I've never played the games at all, like A Way Out. I've never played uh Tale of Two, I think it was called, or something like that. People are gonna be like, "What the hell are you talking about?" I don't even know what you're saying. Tale of Two, I think it was called. Anyways, Split Fiction coming out. If you guys like these games, go ahead and try them. I personally never did. I would love to try them out, but maybe one day. One day. There's just so much in my backlog at this point. I'm just swimming in that of backlog games. So another game to just add to the collection. They announced the sports games, the Madden, the FC is still going to be going to Switch too, and then Madden going to the first time finally. Everybody who likes football can finally play football on the Switch and on the go or wherever they want to take that. There you go. And 2K saying that their sports games are going to come out. 2K is still going to be there. Great, good to know that. I don't really buy these games, but from time to time I'd like to dive into them. But not like extensively, but from time to time. Hogwarts Legacy is also going to be there, and they're going to make basically a Nintendo Switch 2 edition, which will have seamless world exploration and enhanced visuals, and basically the actual version of Hogwarts Legacy they're going to put on Nintendo Switch 2. So I think that's an amazing thing that they're doing. Great on them to bring that up to the Nintendo Switch 2 so that they can actually play the actual edition that they were missing out on. So perfect. I actually never played Hogwarts Legacy, so maybe I'll dive into it when the Nintendo Switch 2 comes out. And then they show off Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4. You already know your boy's in it. Your boy's there, day one. Physical copy. I'm not here for all that shenanigans. But they show off a SpongeBob reference there, which was pretty cool, right on the pirate level, or like the on that, I forgot the level in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3, but yeah, that was pretty interesting. I want to see what that's all about there. So cool that they brought that up. They showed off the Hitman games. I've never played the Hitman games, but I wouldn't mind trying them out just to see how it fares out. I heard it's like a stealth game similar to like Splinter Cell, which I really like. I really like Splinter Cell, but that is usually the only stealth game I ever play. So I wouldn't mind trying this out. I think I actually have one of the games on Epic Games Store. I'll probably try that out first before I make a decision on this, but looking pretty good. I'm actually going to go into a little rapid fire here just so I can kind of move forward with some of the bigger games. But they also announced the Project 007 game, so that looks pretty cool as well here. They showed off Bravely Default, which is basically a remaster. So for all the Bravely Default fans, there you go. They showed off Yakuza 0 Director's Cut, kind of exclusive for a limited time on Nintendo Switch 2. Runs really good, looking really good. They showed off the Nintendo GameCube games finally. They announced that it's going to be an additional feature for the Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack for Nintendo Switch 2 owners. The first 3 games that are going to be out for launch is going to be Legend of Zelda Wind Waker and Soul Calibur 2, which kind of blew my mind, actually. I wasn't expecting that, but cool of them to put Soul Calibur 2 and F-Zero GX, which is a game that everybody was speculating that we would have some kind of remake for, and we have some multiplayer, but there we go. Added as GameCube to play with your friends online. Great. They showed off Deltarune, which I don't really play Deltarune, but they showed off the whole all 4 chapters. They showed off Borderlands 4 from 2K. They also confirmed that they're going to be putting the 2K sports games, so WWE 2K and NBA 2K are going to be continuing to jump into the pool of Nintendo Nintendo games. But good to see that these games are still going to be coming. I guess I don't really play them like that, so there you go. They showed off a game called Survival Kids. I wasn't really excited about that. They did show off a game called Starseeker Astroneer Expedition or something like that. Looked pretty cool. It looked like a space exploration game that you could play with like friends and stuff like that. I'll probably need to see more about that so I can get excited for it. But it looked pretty cool. The next thing they showed was, I think they showed off Enter the Gungeon 2, which I never played Enter the Gungeon. So if you're an Enter the Gungeon fan, there you go. They showed the Cyberpunk 2077 finally. Like it's out for the Switch too. And from what I heard, it runs at 1080p, 30 frames, like a steady 30 frames. But you could use 40 frames per second in the performance mode. Now, the demo that they showed off apparently only is 7 weeks of development, and this is only developed by CD Projekt Red. The original people, I think it was like Saber Interactive or something like that. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but that is kind of the gist of things. It looked pretty cool. It looked pretty cool. I can't wait to actually see how it runs on the final product there. And they showed like a barrage of games. I'm sorry, there's so many of them. There was like, Silk Song, Hollow Knight Silk Song. They showed a lot of games. It was a barrage of games. Nitsugami, Path of the Goddess. They showed Fast Fusion, which is looks like a sequel to Fast RMX. If you guys played Fast RMX on the Switch, they're making a game called Fast Fusion. There we go, and a whole bunch of other games like Marvel Cosmic Fusion, Tamagotchi, all that stuff. And the next game that they showed off was exclusive to the Nintendo Switch 2, which is Dust Bloods. It's basically an exclusive FromSoft game coming to Nintendo Switch 2, 2026. There's not a lot of information, so I'm not really that hyped for it. It looked pretty cool, but I'm just waiting to see more information as it gets along. So the next thing they showed was Kirby Air Riders. They're finally making a sequel to Kirby Air Ride. That was on the GameCube there, so pretty cool if you guys played that or not. But I hope they have it online. That's all that everybody really asked for it, and I don't know what else they're gonna add to it there. So cool. I hope they add something different. And the last thing I believe they showed was Donkey Kong Bonanza. Donkey Kong Bonanza is the new Donkey Kong game. It's a 3D Donkey Kong game, and the last time we got a 3D Donkey Kong game was Donkey Kong 64 on a Nintendo 64. So there we go. We got a cool look at the new mechanic, which is it looks like you can pretty much make the whole world destructible. Like you literally pound anywhere and break anything, and it seems like you could just maneuver through the levels in a very unique way. And yeah, I'm waiting to see. It gives me huge Super Mario Odyssey vibes, so I'm waiting to see what kind of other ideas they're willing to bring to the table there. I will say it's probably my most anticipated game for the Nintendo Switch 2 for sure. Like it was actually definitely my most excited game that I'm looking forward to trying out on Nintendo Switch 2 besides Metroid Prime 4. But overall, like everything sounds really good. Like all the games, there's a bunch of games for you to try. There's I discussed like a huge variation in comparison to the launch of the Nintendo Switch, which sounds great in paper. You know what I'm saying? Like everything that I just discussed, everything sounds great in paper. Now, the way it was executed when they released the prices, yeah, let's just say it didn't pan out so well for them. So I will basically tell you right now, as of this day that I'm recording this, there is not a definitive price to the Nintendo Switch 2. There is no definitive date for pre-orders on the United States. And
we are left to wonder, how much are we really going to be paying for this because of the tariffs and the market pricing and pretty much the state of the economy as we see fit. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of an unfortunate situation for those who are not in the loop. The MSRP price that they placed was 449 for the Nintendo Switch 2 by itself, and for 99.99 for the bundle with Mario Kart World, which sounds amazing. Everything did sounded really, really good in today's economy. Enough to be like, yeah, it is a little pricey. We're not gonna lie to you. But then you started showing off the games prices, and then you delayed that, and then we don't even know if that's actually the definitive price because you leave the pricing with so many asterisks that it's just like, am I really am I really gonna pre-order something that I don't even know if that's the definitive price for? So I mean, which kind of then, yeah, it makes sense that they delayed the pre-orders, and it's been a crazy past few days. To this day, we still don't know anything from when we got the information from the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, which is crazy. We still don't know when we can pre-order. We still don't know the prices, like the definitive prices, as of this day. So it would have been $449.99 for Nintendo Switch 2, $499.99 for Nintendo Switch 2 with Mario Kart World, $79.99 for Mario Kart World. This is US prices, just mind you, so you know, it's not $90. The only reason that people are speculating is $90 because asterisk, we don't really know. We don't know based on what the tariffs are gonna make the value higher than expected. It seems more than likely, and you should prepare your wallet if you're ready to make that contribution, if you're ready to make that type of pre-order. I suggest to ready your wallet because it is going to be a hefty price. It is going to be something that you are definitely gonna be doing some Klarna or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just it's crazy to me that this is something that has really lasted this long, but it seems that they are working to really keep that MSRP, even if it means losing some monies. But I mean, I really don't know. I mean, it's really up to Nintendo at this point, and the state of the tariffs and the market pricing going up. I mean, I don't know. So I mean, what basically I'm saying is, be ready if you are going to pre-order this, because it might be expensive. It might be this price, and if it is, perfect. I'm gonna tell you, yeah, like, go for it, because I think with the current price, yeah, I really don't think it's a huge deal that it's $450 for the Nintendo Switch 2. It's just the games that are like $80, bro. Like, no way. That's crazy. It's crazy that it's $70. We're still trying to recuperate our minds from $70. Like, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom was $70. And then you're gonna tell me that you're gonna charge me $80 for Mario Kart Online? Like, make it make sense. I'm out here trying to learn. I'm out here trying to know. But that's kind of where we're at right now. And in that sense, when it comes to the value of the software, when it comes to the value of the intellectual properties, when it comes to that, I don't know how to feel about it. But when it comes to the hardware, it sounds really good. it sounds really good. It's just some of the stuff around it doesn't seem to have enough information for you to really make a valid option so that you can, either make the purchase or not. And it's kind of disappointing, to be honest. I'm honestly going to be really, really pissed if I upload this video and then they announce the prices. But I mean, this is where we're at as far as we are currently in the state right now. Like, as of recording this, it's Tuesday, April, what? I can't count the days anymore. I think it's April 8th. So, yeah, April 8th. If anything changes after that, I mean, maybe I'll make a video about the prices, maybe my thoughts on that. But as of now, we really don't know. But just on your mind for now, $449.99 and $499.99 for the bundle. Let me talk about the other things, the other accessories before I wrap this up here. Basically, the Nintendo Switch Pro controller, that's going to be $79.99. The Nintendo Switch camera, $49.99. It's really up to you if you want to buy it or not. But those are just some of the stuff that you can purchase if you'd like. As far as we're aware, all the other games, all the other third-party games will be $69.99. But again, anything can happen. We're not really sure what's the future, and based on the pricing of Mario Kart Online, we're not really sure like where that leaves after GTA 6. So it's just a whole mess right now, and I just want to kind of just give you guys a quick reminder to, like, hey, strap yourself in case it does increase, or if the pay is going to be beyond what you expected, then, you know what I'm saying, like, hold out. Or I don't know, I don't know, I really don't know. It just really depends on where it goes from there. But yeah, and also be aware that Nintendo Switch Online might increase their prices as well, but not for Nintendo Switch owners, for Nintendo Switch 2 maybe. I don't know, that's what I'm thinking because of the GameCube. Maybe not yet, maybe by 2026. I'm just saying, something along those lines. Be prepared. Anyways, that's enough of me rambling. That's my video on the Nintendo Switch 2. Everything that you need to know as far as I'm aware. I mean, if I left out anything, you let me know. I feel like I rambled for a really long time. Really, really, really long. I was not expecting this video to be this long, but thank you so much if you were able to listen to this fully through. And if you found this insightful, please let me know. Please leave a like, helps out the channel. Please leave a comment if you didn't know about any specific details. Maybe I provided some form of clarity. And yeah, maybe a little subscribe will do too. Maybe you can stay informed on all things Nintendo Switch 2, as well as any random topics that do come out in the gaming industry. I like to talk about anything. And I also make music, so in case you like hip hop or anything like that, I actually do rap and stuff like that. I do it on the side, just to have fun with it. But that is all from me. Thank you so much for watching. And I don't know when I'll make another video, but I'm sure as soon as maybe they confirm the prices, I will be here to inform you guys and talk about it and, do my thing. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. This is Spaceman signing out.